just 1 week after the leftist Brazil president Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva was inducted into the office as the new leader of the country, the supporters of former right-wing president Jair Bolsonaro stormed several important buildings in the country, sparking a riot. The Brazil riots made international headlines when supporters of former President Bolsonaro, who was a far-right leader, were angered that he was not re-elected in the office and took to streets. Thousands of protesters were seen vandalizing the streets and several government offices. Thousands of demonstrators bypassed security barricades, climbed on roofs, smashed windows, and invaded all three buildings, which were believed to be largely vacant and sit on Brasilia's vast Three Powers Square. Some of them called for a military intervention to either restore the far-right Bolsonaro to power or oust Lula from the presidency. Three major government establishments were hit by the rioters: the Supreme Court, the Congress, and the President's Palace. Thousands of far-right supporters, angered that former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been replaced by a left-wing leader, took to the streets to protest against the government. Rioters were seen in yellow and green gear representing the country's flag, demanding the ousting of President Lula da Silva. The protesters eventually stormed important government buildings such as Supreme Court and Congress, smashing windows and vandalizing government property. The police were also being held accountable for the riots in Brazil as people questioned why they were underprepared and when thousands were spreading lawlessness across the country. President Lula addressed the nations, saying that the situation will be investigated thoroughly. Supporters of the Brazil's far-right former President Jair Bolsonaro on Sunday invaded the country's Supreme Court and its congressional building and surrounded the presidential palace in Brasilia. Here are the reactions from the world leaders. PM Modi on Monday tweeted that he's deeply concerned about the news of rioting and vandalism against the state institution in Brasilia. Democratic traditions must be respected by everyone. We extend our full support to Brazilian authorities. United Secretary of State Antony Blinken also said, "We condemn the act on Brazil's presidency, Congress and Supreme Court today. Using violence to attack democratic institutions is always unacceptable. We join Lula in urging an immediate end to these actions." French President Emmanuel Macron too said, "The will of the Brazilian people and the democratic institution must be respected. President Lula can count on France's unwavering support." United Kingdom's ambassador to Brazil, Stephen Al-Quack, said, "We condemn the violent scene of attack on institution today in Brasilia. We reaffirm our confidence in the strength of Brazil's democracy and in the smooth functioning of its democratic process."
Hi, you have been watching our videos on hwnews English. But why be content with content in just one language when you can choose from both? Yes, from 1st of January, we are bringing together the repository of our ground reports, interviews and analysis under the umbrella of HW News Network. So, while HW News English will stay as it is, you will now be able to watch our Hindi and English reportage together. So don't forget to watch HW News Network from 1st of January.